I'm the Car Money Guy. I spent 5 years in the car industry as an engineer and product strategist, and I'm going to show you what good service history actually looks like, how to spot the red flags and how to tell when good means something and when it means nothing at all. When you're buying a car, full service history, not good, is what we're striving for. Full service history means that every aspect of the car that needs maintaining has been maintained when it needed to be maintained with evidence to prove it. But if any of those things aren't true, the car does not have full service history. The car's manufacturer will specify the age and mileage at which maintenance jobs need to be done. And they'll put that on what's called a maintenance schedule. And with that maintenance schedule, you can see what exactly needs to be done at what point in the car's life. If you search online using your car's make, model, and year, you'll find a copy. A copy should also be in your car's physical service handbook. On this, you'll see mention of things like oils, filters, and fluids. That's because their performance degrades over time. When they degrade, they don't do their job properly. And if they aren't changed out, the mechanical components of your car have to work harder, and that causes them to wear. This is when the big problems happen. The service schedule might mention things like a cam belt or timing belt, depending on your car. If these are mentioned, replacing them is crucial. If ignored, they can destroy your car's engine. I have a video specifically about engine timing, which I'll link to up here. Now, here's where the dealer's language can catch you out. You might hear phrases like good service history. Now, this is entirely subjective. The dealer's interpretation isn't being made in your interests, it's being made in theirs. That's not a moral failing on their part, it's just what their job is. But your job is to know the difference. If they mention a phrase like the car has had a full service, it's slightly underhand. It sounds a bit like full service history, but probably means that it's had an oil change at the dealership, which is nice, but it doesn't tell you the whole story about the car's past. And at this specific age and mileage, the car might need a lot more than the dealer has actually done. If those jobs get ignored long enough, that's a repair bill worth thousands waiting to happen. That's why you need to know what to ask and what to look for. In this situation, you're playing the role of a detective. The first thing you need to ask is to see evidence of the service history. Now, this could be physically written in a service handbook. Here, you want to see that the car was serviced at the age and mileage intervals on the service schedule. You want to see that the service items, that was what was done in the service, matched what the service schedule said was needed. And you want to see stamps from the garages that did the work. Even better, you want receipts. Stamps and handwritten notes can be faked. Receipts are much better proof that someone actually paid for the work to be done. Service history can also be in the form of a digital printout from a dealership. Again, same rules apply. Check against the service schedule. Or it could be a digital record on the infotainment. Again, having this backed by receipts is the gold standard. But after a few years and a few owners, cars rarely have perfect service history. Paperwork gets lost, owners take less care with maintenance over time, and a car can have what's called a partial service history. This is where there's some evidence of servicing, but not of everything. Or that even though the car went into the garage when it should have, items just simply didn't get maintained how and when they should have been. There are gaps against the service schedule. Things like cam belt and gearbox services aren't cheap, so people skip them and flog the car before they have an issue. These are the red flag cars to avoid. So the question isn't, is the service history perfect? It's, is what's missing a deal breaker, or could I use it to get a discount? It's a judgment call here. So here are some things that you can consider that might help you decide. The first is, if there are gaps in the service history, what period of the car's life is undocumented. For example, the timing of the first service is crucial. This is because a new engine has a period of bedding in. The mechanical components have a very snug fit, and in those first few thousand miles, these build up more wear than in any other normal period. It's vital that the oil is changed on time to flush out any metal particles. The second thing to consider is, are the major services accounted for? Not all services are equal. The expensive ones, the ones that include things like the timing belt, gearbox oil, these happen at specific intervals, typically 60 to 80,000 miles or 4 to 5 years, depending on your car. If the car is past one of those intervals and there's no record of these jobs being done, you're buying a car with 600 to 2,000 pounds worth of jobs just hanging over it. The third thing to consider is, how much is the missing work going to cost, and is the price reflecting that? This is the negotiation question. If the car needs a timing belt, that costs £800, and the price of the car isn't £800 below comparable cars which have full service history, you're paying for service history that you're not getting. Either negotiate the discount or walk away. There's a lot to consider, so I've created a checklist that you can download and keep to make sure that all angles are covered. It's free to download. I don't even ask for an email address, but a like or a comment on this video would really help the channel grow. There's a link to the checklist in the description of this video below. One last thing. If checking over service history feels like a lot to remember and a lot to actually do for the first time with a dealer watching over you, it is. So here's what I suggest. Firstly, if you're serious about buying a car that you're looking at, ask for evidence of service history before you see it in person. This can be a useful way to go through the task with more time and less pressure. And if the service history isn't up to scratch, you can rule that car out, having saved yourself a wasted journey. Secondly, if this all feels a bit daunting, go and practice on a friend's car or your parents' car. Sit down with your paperwork in the kitchen with no pressure and no salesperson and run the checks. Get familiar with what service schedules actually look like and practice doing the detective work. Try and figure out, for the car you're looking at, on the service schedule, has everything been maintained with evidence to prove it at the time and mileage that it said it should have? Because by the time you're standing in front of a car you might actually buy, you don't want it to be the first time you're looking at a service book. You want it to be your 10th. Now let's recap. Picture yourself at that same dealership. Same car, same dealer, same words, good service history. But this time, you ask the questions. You read the documents, you know what good actually looks like, and know when someone uses that term without backing it up. You might walk away. You might get some money off. You might even have found a gem. Just know that no matter the service history, reliability is never guaranteed. With cars, the odds can always go against you. But at least by buying a car that's been well maintained, you know the odds are stacked in your favor. That's the difference between buying a car and being sold one. I'll see you in the next video.